Hey guys, today we have a special video for you. We are going to share with you what to do if she wants less sex than you. So I'm sure that you've been in this situation, and I'm sure that you would love to get some useful tips that you could use to help inspire her in the bedroom. I am Céline Remy, the Intimacy Angel.
And I'm Kevin Anthony, the Truth Warrior. And before we start to give you those tips, if you have ever wanted more sex than she does, make sure you like this video, hit subscribe, and also hit the little bell so you get notifications for future videos.
So let's get started. Number one thing that you want to do is stop trying to guess or read her mind. Ask her. Ask her what kind of sex she wants or what does she want. Like, get curious. Don't take it as a criticism of you or anything like that, but be very open and curious and listen to what she has to say about what she wants. You might be surprised. You might learn things that you had no idea. Or maybe you might learn that there's something you used to do that you're no longer doing, or like so many ways that this conversation could go. But basically what that means is you're going to have the answers so that then you can move to the next step, which is...
Hold on. Before we get to the next step, there is a little truth bomb I need to share with you guys. One of the major reasons why women are less interested in sex is because they're not getting the kind of sex that they want. That's why you need to ask them. Very important. Find out what kind of sex they really do want.
Well, the next step is give her the kind she wants. So that's kind of what you were talking about.
First, you have to know what kind she wants.
And then you have to give it to her. That's kind of how it goes. Number two, you want to make sure that you're not really needy when you approach her or trying to get something from her. Women tend to be a little bit more sensitive sometimes. And we feel it. If you approach us and you're trying to get something from us, or you're trying to validate yourself, or you're using us for your own pleasure, it's a massive turn off. And she will most likely say no to you because she's feeling that there is this agenda, this pressure behind your ask.
A real masculine, confident man is not needy. He's not needy. Needy is a major turnoff for women. So this is why you see often men who haven't had a date in a long time or haven't had sex in a long time, they get in that, oh, I gotta, that needy place. And then they literally can't get a date and they go, I don't understand why I can't get a date. The reason is because they're so needy, and women can sense this 5 miles away. You're on the other end of the bar and you're oozing need, and women feel it and they run in the other direction. It's the same thing in your relationship. Do not approach sex from a needy place.
Don't beg for it either, by the way. It's not sexy. It's just not. So let's be real. Another step is, if you know that you want to have sex and she's not in the mood, there's probably a reason behind it. And most likely it's because her stress levels are really high. Here's what happens. We are these beings that are constantly doing things, and we have a to-do list, and women have this, how is that called? The
diffuse awareness.
Diffuse awareness. I got the term. I had only half of it. This is why you're here, Kevin. We have diffuse awareness, meaning we can do multiple things at once, but it can get in our own way when it comes to having sex. And the more we're thinking about all these things, the more we stress ourselves, the less sexy, aroused, or libido we will feel, basically. And so it can go a long way if you're willing to do some of the stuff at home to help offload her stress level, or whatever your arrangement is in your relationship. Look at small ways that you can take some of the burden or the stress away from her shoulder, share that load together, so that the more she feels relaxed, the more she can start to feel her own sex drive.
Yeah, we're going to break it down and make it really simple for you guys. There are a lot of times when women, because they're stressed out and because they have so much to do, think that they are absolutely not in the mood. But all it takes is a little bit of de-stressing, and then all of a sudden they start to feel the mood. We have this even ourselves. There are times when you're like, I'm really not in the mood. And whenever you get like that, you go, okay, great. lay down, I'm going to give you a massage. And usually within about 5, maybe 10 minutes of that, you're like, ooh, I'm starting to feel some desire, some energy moving, right? So just help her reduce the stress, and there's a high likelihood that that not being in the mood will shift into being in the mood.
So I love that you're bringing this point, because that was one of our tips to help her get out of her head. And then doing anything that will bring her in her body. And I love, like, Kevin, you'll do that often while you massage me, whether it's my shoulder or my feet, or even just touching each other without any agenda. And oftentimes then that's the one thing that will help me shift. And something you need to understand is that some women are a little bit different in kind of that arousal is we don't always feel that our bodies are responding. Our heads think that we're not aroused while our body are ready. And it takes us being more in our body or getting into it to realize that, yes, indeed, we were aroused. And a lot of women are stuck there. And if they're like, well, I'm not aroused, I'm not excited, so I'm not going to do anything. But if you can help her feel her body and start to notice and pay attention, then she'll be able to be like, oh, actually I have excitement. It's just I wasn't feeling it. And that's something you need to know about women, because it's very common. I know for guys it works differently, that you're excited, you get boner, right?
Right, I was gonna say this is a pro tip, because for guys it sounds like, what do you mean you don't know? Yeah, we know, because when we're standing up like this, right? It's pretty obvious, but it's not always that obvious for women. So this is a pro tip. If you can understand that, you are going to definitely move up to the next level of being a great lover.
Yeah, and even for me, oftentimes I'm thinking, oh, but I'm not turned on. And then you're like massaging me or like just petting my pussy, and then I'll go like, oh, well, actually I'm wet. I wasn't even really realizing it. It's just like there's a disconnect sometimes, and we just need a little bit of help, and that's where you come in handy. Our last tip is, and be ready for that one, you need to stop pressuring her to have an orgasm, and you need to stop making it all about the orgasms, whether it's your orgasms or her orgasms.
Yeah, the idea is this shouldn't feel like work. There isn't some place you have to get to, because as soon as it starts to feel like, oh, I got to make sure that she has an orgasm, or she thinks, oh, I got to make sure he has an orgasm, all of a sudden it's like, it's one more thing on the to-do list, right? So you can have amazing sex, like really amazing sex, and nobody has a fucking orgasm.
And that's still great, because you had sex, you connected, and the more you do it, the more you want it. So that's the thing too, don't wait forever. Like, make sure you go at it. And again, it doesn't have to be mind-blowing every single time. It's just about putting some good energy into your relationship, into your love life, and keep like giving it some attention, because it will go a long way. All right, we hope today's video was helpful. Make sure you apply all of these tips, and let us know in the comments below how those are working. And if you have a tip that has worked for you, share it with the world, because it's needed. We want more people to have mind-blowing, amazing lovemaking. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and we're going to see you in our next video. I want to thank Onnit for sponsoring today's video. Now, do you know why you feel hornier in the summer months rather than the winter months? No, it's not because you're showing more skin. Well, it does help. It's because of the vitamin D, because you spend more time outside and in the sun. Now, as many as 75% of people in the US are deficient in vitamin D. And vitamin D is one of these essential vitamins. It's the sexiest vitamin alive. It helps with your sex hormones, with your mood. So one way that I found works really well for me is to take it into a spray form, because it's convenient and simple. All I have to do is 5 sprays under my tongue every day, and I've got my daily dose, and it works well. I'm set to go. If you want to boost your vitamin D levels easily and effortlessly, get your Onnit spray. Go to onnit.com and use Love Lab at the checkout to get 10% off your order, or click on the links below in the description. You won't regret it.